Alan, thank you so much for inspiring us today. We have Alan Strydom here, the director of HeartMath, and he spoke to us today about resilience and how we can use HeartMath to help us, what's the word I'm looking for, to be more...
more coherent and be more resilient.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to share with us today, which would be the main takeaways of your talk?
Sure. Well, just to clear things up, I'm the director of HeartMath here in South Africa. So if anybody looks at HeartMath on YouTube, they might find Howard Martin, and that's, we're two different people. So I'm here based in South Africa, and I think the message really is about the fact that when we become more self-aware, about what triggers our stress responses, that we can actually start to catch those moments. We can then shift our attention to the heart instead of getting caught up in that drama, and then through self-regulation techniques that HeartMath teaches. So this is based on focus, on breathing, and then how we feel. So we can intentionally feel good on demand, and that's what we teach. Right? So through those self-regulation techniques, then we can become more coherent, and you can think of that coherence then as composure, as being in the zone, in the flow, so where things are just working so well for us. And then the coherence leads to being more resilient over time. So the biggest message for me is about the preparation. So when we defined the resilience today, we spoke about the capacity to prepare for, recover from, and adapt in the face of stress, challenge, and adversity. So the preparing part is the most vital, because if we don't do the prepare work, sure, we could be resilient. However, our ability to bounce back and recover might be slowed down because we don't actually build that muscle. Especially in today's world, that there's so much complexity and things that are happening so fast. Everything's demanding our attention. That the more energy we have in reserve, the better we can handle the situations in the moment, and we can shift and adapt. But it all comes from the prepare work.
Agreed. I like that. And then tell me the technology that you use to help us. Please tell us a bit more about that. Right.
So today I demonstrated the M-Wave Pro, which is, it shows our heart rate variability on the screen, on the computer screen. But what it really comes down to is monitoring our state of coherence. So when we actually practice the techniques, and HeartMath teaches a whole range of different techniques, we can actually see the output of those techniques on the screen, and we can actually track where we are. So often people say to me, yeah, but I meditate, and they spend like maybe 40 minutes meditating, and some of that time the mind starts to drift off, and you catch yourself, you bring yourself back again, and that is part of meditation. Meditation teaches us that. However, when we're using the technology, we can actually see immediately when we're not in that coherent space. When we're not focused on the heart, when we're not breathing in the rhythm, when we're not feeling intentionally good. The technology reflects that immediately for us, so we can bring our attention back again. And what you saw today in the demonstration was when Nina was volunteering, within a minute and a half, we went from that very erratic heart rate pattern to a very smooth pattern where there's a lot more flexibility. She's able to handle things around her more appropriately. She's feeling calmer, she's feeling more focused, and that with her eyes open. So it's not meditation, nothing wrong with meditation, but it's, when you're driving down the highway and somebody cuts in front of you, you don't want to close your eyes and do something then. You want to do it with your eyes open, and that's what Nina did, what we saw today. Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. We underestimate the power of just breathing. Often we think it has to be something fantastic or some over the top, but it's just absolutely the breathing which we saw brings you down. And you mentioned just knowing the techniques right now, what it is to use, and where we are in that quadrant that you explained to us, and just to understand where we currently are, because then it helps you take the next step when you currently know where you are to move to the different quadrants, which I think is very powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with
us.
And then last one thing, you mentioned you also coached. Maybe you want to tell us a little bit more about the coaching and what you do?
Well, I teach coaches as well, so I teach coaches the HeartMath system. I deliver training in corporate environments as well, Resilience Advantage program. So we have a whole program based on being more resilient. And the private one-on-one coaching that we do is either moving a client away from the stress that they're feeling, like somebody said to me now, I can, that's so me, I know that something challenges me and I feel it's positive stress, but I quickly go into negative part of that, So we try and help people distinguish between what challenges them, what makes them feel good, and what stresses them out. But to understand that when we feel stressed out, those neural pathways are firing off and it's automatic. And what often happens is that we end up feeling bad and stressed out, the effects of the stress, and not seeing the connection of the dots that we got there. So in the coaching, what we do is we help people uncover those dots, right? So we see how do they show up, what are they thinking what is the thought that they're thinking when they are stressed out, what are the emotions they're experiencing, where they feel it in the body. And then by using the techniques like the simple one I taught today, dropping your attention to the heart, it short circuits those neural pathways, those automatic ones, because you can't be in two places at once, regardless of what anybody says, right? So as soon as you go, I'm having that thought again, oh, you were speaking about the weather. Let's use that as an example. Oh, this weather really sucks. Oh, there's that thought. So drop my attention to the heart. I can no longer think about the weather. Breathing in that rhythm, right? So I start to regulate the autonomic nervous system. I'm feeling calmer, no longer in fight or flight. And then I'm starting to feel good and I focus on those emotions. So that's what we teach. And whether it's moving away from stress or towards a goal, for instance, I'm now working with one of our coaches who admitted to me that he's been doing this particular way of coaching for 8 years and it's not working. His business model it's not working. So we looked at where does he want to go, and he said, well, I want to sign up those high-flying clients. I said, okay, what's stopping you? So we look at those. What's the story he's telling himself? What are the emotions? Fear. Where does he feel it in the body? Practice the techniques, right? And then what would you rather experience instead of the fear? And for him it became excitement and curiosity, so helping him focus on that and actually practicing that feeling before the time. So now his whole state changes. He's more excited and more curious, and he's just signed his first 15,000 rand client. So it's that kind of thing, yeah.
It definitely is a tool that I think every entrepreneur should have in their arsenal as an entrepreneur, because we need to get over those hurdles. And thank you so much for broadening our horizons and sharing the topic with us today. We really do appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Gwen. I really appreciated the opportunity to speak to you.
Well, thank you very much. We hope to see you again soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you.